Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yep, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. Hey, man, we're back in on the channel, man. We got a Just Thought Lounge for us today. Did you see the title? Did you look it up early? Because I know you.
I seen something about Waffle. Did I see something about Waffle? I thought I seen Waffle.
Today we got the Waffle House murders.
Okay.
You know about this?
No.
All right. So with that being said, before we get into it, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go. If you want to first support, all you got to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
like it in with a thumbs up.
Hey, let's get it. Why we do that? You know we don't do that no more. Like, you ain't stop me.
Have we been doing it all day?
No.
Oh. Well, hey.
Y'all didn't see nothing. Let's go.
Did you see anyone inside of that truck?
Yes, I did.
You kind of looking over to your left. Are you seeing the person that you saw inside the truck in this courtroom?
He's giving me the same look he did that night.
And what was that look?
Looked like he didn't care.
Why is he looking like that?
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin, and this is Just Thought Lounge. JTL is the true crime channel that delivers serious, well-balanced coverage of the cases that really make you think. The case we're looking at today centers around the events that took place over the course of only a few short minutes at a Waffle House restaurant in a neighborhood of Nashville, Tennessee in 2018. In those few minutes, the lives of 4 people were lost, and for many more, their lives were forever changed. This is not a case that questions what took place, but rather why it did. Almost the entire incident seemed to be captured on camera, from the arrival of the gunman at the scene to the 34-hour manhunt that followed. That the man responsible for this attack was deeply disturbed was obvious, but could someone so confused, irrational, and mentally unstable be held accountable? This is the story of Travis Jeffrey Reinking and the Waffle House murders. Let's take a look. In the early...
I will say, do we know about this case? Yes, we do know
when
about
When you asked me in the beginning, I was like, no. But then when I seen everything, I was like, oh, yes, I do know. Yeah, of course. I remember this.
But I don't know the circumstances afterwards, because you heard about it. It was reported all the time when it first happened. But everything after the fact, I feel like went quiet. And you didn't hear about any justice that might have happened. You didn't hear about any convictions. I didn't even hear about the trial that took place. You just heard about, because this girl I went to high school with, she actually was there that night.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. And she actually was, I think she went to TSU at the time, but she actually moved back home.
Oh, okay.
But have you heard anything about the case?
I feel like I have. That's what I was trying to. But let's just go.
No, I'm just saying, like, because I haven't heard anything about a conviction or anything.
I like not like to that nature, but yeah.
You know where this Waffle House is, right?
In the early morning hours of the 22nd of April 2018 in Antioch, a suburb of Nashville, locals were winding up a late night out at the newest Waffle House location on Murfreesboro Pike. It was business as usual at the restaurant, which is to say that it was quite busy. At around 3 a.m., there were no obvious signs of disturbance. The unfortunate collection of individuals at the restaurant that fateful night were making their way inside. 2 brothers, Aquila and Abedi De Silva, with their respective girlfriends, Shantia, who goes by Tia, and Alexis, entered the restaurant sometime just past 3 a.m.
Oh, so that's the one I know, is Alexis. Oh, I didn't know she was with, wow. That's the one I went to high school with. And this Waffle House, I used to pass by it all the time going to work. So it was one, like, if we're going to work, you remember when I used to drop you off? if I didn't go back to the interstate and I went the back way to work, I always passed this Waffle House. And it was fairly new at the time.
And took turns standing at the counter to place their orders. The brothers were celebrating. Aquila, known in the local music scene as Natrix Dream, an up-and-coming artist with boatloads of potential and a side gig as a music videographer, had just completed a video the day before. Talented and intelligent, he was also attending Middle Tennessee State University for computer engineering. There were other college students at the restaurant that night. Sorority sisters Sharita Henderson and Dee Ebony Groves pulled into the parking lot at roughly 3:15. Once inside, the two walked past the booths towards a swinging door which led back to the restrooms before returning and settling into the booth closest to the bar counter. They picked up their own menus, and after only a few short moments, the two could be heard singing together, "Jesus Loves Me," while they joked, chatted, and waited to order their food. Beside them, Kayla Shaw, a 25-year-old mother in town visiting, had made her way inside. Kayla was having a night out with her cousin and was sporting a pair of high heels. She had been crowned the one with the toughest feet at the end of the night, and so was designated to collect their takeout order. Standing on her own, she watched while Aquila and Tia placed their order. The couple was very cute about it, she thought. Aquila knew Tia's order and placed it for her. While Kayla waited patiently, two more men made their way in behind her and to her right at the counter. She didn't really notice these two at the time. Had she known then that one of these men in only a few minutes would save her life, she would have paid more attention, she said. Brennan McMurray and James Shaw Jr. had been out at a club that night. Neither one of them had been drinking, but it was late, they were hungry, and their first choice for a quick bite, Taco Bell, was closed. 20-year-old James had worked as an electrical technician for about 2 years. He attended Tennessee State University. For his part, Brennan was not keen to wake up his wife so late at home if he attempted to make food. So the two found themselves, at roughly 3:20 a.m. in the morning, wandering into the Waffle House. Brennan's white Jeep and James's red Ford pickup truck were captured entering the parking lot just behind a gold-colored Chevy truck, which parked just to the side of the front entrance. As the two approached the door, they caught a glimpse of the driver of the Chevy sitting inside. James could make out only a silhouette inside the cab of the truck, but he stared back at the man as he entered the restaurant. Later, he said he was not able to pinpoint...
That's crazy, bro. Do you ever catch yourself looking around like that sometimes?
Always.
Oh, for real?
Ain't want me to tell you.
Is it more like at late at night or just throughout
Just
any time?
anytime. And I have like this weird thing, even though I think I also do it just because I know that my memory is just so bad. So I try to like challenge myself. I have this weird thing of like trying to remember people's license plate numbers.
Oh, you trying to do
I
that?
do, like, I just walk and I like try to remember, or if a car like driving, like I don't know, like I do. It's so weird, but I do it all the time, and I've done it since I was young. And I just try to remember people's license plate number, even if it's like partial. I try to at least remember some of the numbers or some of the letters or most of the numbers or some. I don't know. It's weird.
So I don't do it as much as when I'm with you, but when I'm out by myself, I do strategically try to park a certain way. I try to, like, when I park, I try, like, no matter where, just so, say for instance, this morning I went to Kroger, right? I tried to park. I didn't care. I tried to, normally I'm with you. I'm like, hey, I try to strategically park how I'm with you. But this morning, I was like, let me park where if anything happened, I pull straight out. I always try to be able to, don't like to put in reverse back out because it's too much time. I like to be able to, boom, get in, and I'm out. Also, I typically don't like to park where a bunch of cars is. I like to be able to park where I can easily just zoom. Yeah. This is just how I think. And I kind of try to examine to see who's kind of who's around.
Try to remember what people look like or what they got on.
No, I just try to see if I see anybody that's possibly looking
kind of a little odd.
Yes, that's standing out.
I'm saying, and with that, do you try to remember what they look like or what they have on or anything?
Nah.
You don't?
Nah.
You just try to see how they moving.
Yes, I'm very observant of how people are moving. So you know how they just pull? I wouldn't, that's probably my package. I wouldn't just pull.
Yeah.
What I would do is I will. Yeah, that's it. I would have bagged in, but I still would have went over there to the side, away from everybody, bagged in where if anything I can just cut and go out real fast and try to flee. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I kind of operate. I don't like being bunched in with a lot, and I try to look for the quickest path out.
No. See, I don't do all of that. Like, as far as like thinking like that. But I do just try to remember like things around me. Like I said, like the license plate, or I try to remember like a piece of something that somebody has on, or just something about them, just in case, because you just never know. I do odd things like that. I'm not going to say it's odd, but I do things like that.
But the way he did it, is very, very good because typically, like, the Waffle House is like they wait at 3:00 in the morning. That is normal. I know a lot of places this ain't normal. Like, especially in this environment where we around, going to the Waffle House at 3:00 in the morning is normal. That's just a thing that happens. There's nothing wrong with that. But you just see somebody sitting in their car outside the Waffle House at 3:00 in the morning and not possibly eating their food in the car and just sitting and waiting. That is not normal. Normally you would go in, grab a booth real quick, and wait on your people. You're not just sitting in a car, just hanging out, waiting, you know?
Point any one thing specifically about the man that stood out, he said only that the man's energy wasn't right. He felt it, and it was uncomfortable. In the furthest booth, next to the wall and the doorway that led to the restrooms, sat two more patrons, Mike and Trey. Sharita and Ebony were singing in the booth in front. The scene inside was settled for the better part of the next minute. Alexis sat down, James and Brennan looked at the menus, staff were busy prepping orders behind the counter, one cook declared that he was popping outside for his 15-minute break. Then, as Kayla stood from the bar stool, glass from the front windows came flying in at them. The sound of gunshots rang out. Everyone scattered.
And you know how terrible... I'm finna tell you, if you haven't... Because I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this are not familiar with a Waffle House, right? Some might be. The only entrance and exit is what y'all see. And it's that front. So if somebody's coming shooting, there's no... In the front of a Waffle House, side all the way through, there's nothing but glass. And there's almost absolutely no place to hide, to flee to evacuate. The only other possible place is to that bathroom over there. But there's no other exit, really. I don't know if in the back, that little back way they got an exit, but it's like you're a sitting duck. There's nowhere to hide, to escape, to run to. Because even if he tried to come in and he saw all y'all flee to the bathroom, he can go straight to that bathroom and start shooting. And you're trapped. It feels trappish.
Yeah.
Rang out. Everyone scattered. When the blast of the windows was heard, the De Silva brothers separated. While Abedi and Alexis ran for the doors towards the restrooms, Akila and Tia split off to the left, under the booths along the side wall on that end of the restaurant. James and Brennan likewise made a run for the restroom doors. Brennan, having pulled James up and forward while they stumbled, made it through to a bathroom where he was locked inside with Abedi and Alexis. James found himself in the outer hallway with Mike and Trey, who had pushed through the door from their nearby booth. These three stood behind only the swinging back door.
Wow.
Sharita and Ebony slid under their table where Sharita, playing a protective big sister, tried to cover her friend as much as she could. Kayla had been completely exposed in her position in front of the counter, but she had miraculously dropped to the floor behind the stools at the moment that the glass gave way. She faced towards the counter, eyes shut, and laid perfectly still. She had not been struck when the glass shattered. Only a few small shards of glass had flown into her face, which at the time went unnoticed. Fighting the initial instinct that she had to turn around and confront whomever had caused the disturbance, and still completely unaware of what was happening, she opted instead to lay very still, silent, and play dead. This instinctual thinking and the later actions of James Shaw would save her life. The man in the gold Chevy extended cab pickup truck, wearing only a waist-length green jacket and armed with an AR-15 rifle, had gotten out of his vehicle. He shot first at Joey Perez, 20 years old, a patron on his way into the restaurant only feet from the door. A longtime Waffle House employee, Torian Sanderlin, witnessed this, began to run, and was also shot just outside the door. Both of these shootings were fatal. After firing into the front windows, shattering the glass, the man went...
Because he did say, he had just said he was finna go take his
15. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Fatal. After firing into the front windows, shattering the glass, the man went inside. Chuck Cadero was in the parking lot when the incident occurred.
I work nights, so I kill time in there. I have coffee or have something to eat. I showed up tonight and they were a little busy, so I stayed in my car for a few minutes, which is probably a blessing. T, my friend who was the cook, was outside smoking a cigarette. I got out of my car to go inside, and as I got out, this lunatic in a pickup pulled up. He got out with an assault rifle, wearing only a jacket, nothing from the waist down. Really just craziness. And he shot a customer who was about to go in the door, and then he shot my friend who was trying to get away on the sidewalk. And then he fired a few shots through the window, and then he went inside.
Watching from the small window of the swinging door, James Shaw deduced that if the gunman decided to make his way towards the back restrooms, every person there, including himself, were facing some pretty stark odds. So he waited for an opportunity. The gunman paused to reload his weapon. In that moment, James pushed through the swinging door. He was within 2 strides of the attacker. He managed to grasp the end of the rifle and push it upwards and ultimately out of the attacker's grip, throwing the weapon across the counter to the ground. James proceeded to gain control of the man and force him out the front door of the restaurant. The attacker awkwardly abandoned his only piece of clothing along the walkway outside of the building. He then walked from the property, also leaving his vehicle and his weapon behind.
You see how weak, and I know you want me. I really want to call it how it is.
Just use your words.
I can't.
And don't be vulgar.
I can't. I'm telling you.
You could just say how you see how weak
cowards. No, I want to go harder.
Well, just save it for later.
No, because it needs to be said. Because a lot of people with that mindset are very much so like, you tough as hell when you got the gun in your hand.
That's true.
But you see how
somebody
strong on that gun out your hand,
and then you just,
and now you
know what I'm saying?
I want to see you lucky. You lucky. I'm trying to, because it needs to be said. Because there's too many of them like him. Yeah. There's too many. And they always talking about people. They always got something to say. They always do. But that's who they are. You tough when you can, we see body cams all the time. Yeah. We just literally watched on one. As long as you got this, but soon somebody put that, come on. Mm-hmm. You got nothing.
Facts.
Remember that. You're nobody. You're going to always be nobody.
As it fell silent inside the restaurant, those hiding in protective positions began to emerge and to call for help. Both Akila and Tia had been injured. She had a wound to the leg, while Akila appeared to have been hit in the arm. At first, the extent of Akila's injuries were not apparent. Akila was taken by ambulance to the Vanderbilt University Medical Center, but he could not be resuscitated. He was 23 years old. Diebony Groves was 21 years old, a Dean's List graduate from Gallatin High School, enrolled in Belmont University. She had a dream of being a social worker. Despite her friend Sharita's best efforts to protect her, Diebony also passed away at Vanderbilt Medical Center early that Sunday morning. Sharita, 24 years old, suffered a gunshot wound to the leg and 2 to the arm. She survived, but like Tia, would suffer permanent injuries to her leg. It turns out James Shaw was also grazed with a bullet on the arm, an injury that he was unaware of until well after the incident. He also suffered burns to his hand where he had grabbed the barrel of the rifle. Similarly, after offering rapid prayers for those inside, Kayla Shaw ran for her vehicle where her cousin still waited for her, and they fled the area. Noticing only later that she had been struck with some broken glass, she went to the Vanderbilt Medical Center where she met others from the restaurant, including James Shaw Jr., who was no relation to her, but to whom all of the survivors inside the Waffle House that night owed their lives.
And we distinctively remember the cook. The cook was actually washing dishes, and he was stacking the plates up. And he was stacking them pretty high up on the hood to where we were like, those are gonna fall off. So when we first heard what I know now is the gunshot, we thought it was plates crashing because we had pretty much made that up in our minds that it was, the plates were gonna fall. I actually went behind this like a push door, swivel door, and he shot through that door, I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure he grazed my arm. And it was at that time that I kind of made up my mind, because there's no way to lock that door, that if it was going to come down to it, he was going to have to work to kill me.
The response by law enforcement was quick. Detective Summerall described this case as the easiest to solve. The entire incident had been captured on multiple security cameras. There were numerous witnesses who saw the strange man seated in the gold truck outside of the restaurant, and the truck itself still sat in its spot with the keys in the ignition. Perhaps most notably, when the police checked the truck, they found 2 personal checks in the console. They belonged to 29-year-old Travis Jeffrey Reinking. Travis had lived in the apartment complex directly behind the restaurant for 3 months.
Wow.
His criminal record showed a series of incidents, including one in which he had dressed in a pink house gown or dress and had threatened a former colleague with an AR-15 style rifle. He had a history of related issues linked to severe mental illness, and he fit the description of the shooter. The manhunt commenced immediately, and they knew who they were looking for. By noon, investigators had gained entry to Travis Reinking's apartment. In it, they found 2 more guns and more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition.
Wow.
More than 160 officers were involved in the search for Travis. Local residents were on edge knowing that the shooter was not in custody and had left on foot. He was likely to still be in the area, and police warned that he could be armed. Everyone was on the lookout while police spoke to the press with regular updates on their search efforts.
According to a witness, a shirtless man fitting Reinking's description was seen in the woodline. A police helicopter and several police dogs attempted a track of Reinking. The dogs were tracking along the TVA power line, the power grid, until the dogs lost the track. But we think he has fled that immediate area on foot. At this point, we do not know where he is.
I'm standing in the construction site behind the Diamond Apartments on Mountain Springs Road. In between the school, there's a man that just walked through my job, dark pants, dark shirt, wearing a backpack. It looks like this guy. He's got mud all over him.
Okay, you said it's a construction site for Diamond Apartments?
No, Diamond Apartments is where he lived. I'm right here behind it.
After 34 hours, a Detective Williams spotted Travis in a wooded area just behind the apartment building where he lived, not far from the Waffle House itself. Travis had returned to his apartment, showered, dressed, and collected belongings into a backpack. Later, he would claim he was making an escape to Canada. In the backpack was...
Boy, how the fuck you gonna escape to Canada from Nashville? On Pit and Pat. See.
For real.
Boy, you weren't gonna make it across Kentucky.
I'm going to be for real,
Boy,
bro.
you wasn't even gonna make it to Clarksville. Like...
Makes no sense.
A gun and ammunition, a collection of solid silver bars, and bottles of water. Not located in his bag, however, was his passport. That was located inside the safe in his apartment.
The suspect turned around and Detective Williams saw his face and realized that that is the suspect we were looking for. At that point, Detective Williams drew down on the suspect. The suspect proned out. He told him to get on the ground. He got on the ground immediately, proned himself out. Other detectives came and assisted, put him into custody, and put him in cuffs.
The first indications that something was not right with Travis had come years earlier when he still lived in his hometown of Morton, Illinois. He worked as a manager in a grocery store for a time, as well as a crane operator in his early and mid-20s. It was during this time that Travis began to develop delusions and became increasingly more paranoid. Central to his alternative reality was the belief that Taylor Swift had been stalking him. She would break into his apartment, hack his phone and computer, and access his bank account. On a YouTube channel, he posted roughly 30 videos detailing what he believed were targeted attacks upon him by Taylor, by law enforcement, by family members, and others.
I come into my bathroom and I notice in my bathroom that the toilet seat is up. The toilet seat is up on my toilet.
That's because you left it up.
And then, like I said to my dad the other day, there was fingerprints on the sides of my laptop. There's fingerprints on the sides. I never open the lid that way. When I open the lid of my laptop, I always grab it here and open it, you know?
How you shut
But
it?
then, so then there's these notes. That was in my notes, you know, the notes that I keep, my journals that I keep on my computer. It's labeled under journals. I keep these notes in there, you know, to keep track of all this stuff that's been happening to me. You know,
So, if your parents was, or your family was aware that you was having these episodes, did they try to? And I understand he's an adult. I understand he's grown. He's an adult. But a parent can still step in and have things done, because if he is deemed mentally unstable, they can still. That's the reason why they have what Britney Spears is under conservatorship. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why things like that are in place, for them to be able to take over his rights and be able to possibly give him the proper help. So when he was saying all these things and y'all was noticing everything, did anybody ever try to get him the proper?
Yeah.
Did we try the medication? Was any medication ever? Was he even diagnosed? Mm-hmm. Did we even go to that route? If we're gonna use the, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
It's like, why is somebody coming in my apartment and doing this stuff? You know, this is illegal. Why is somebody getting on my private property like that? Why is someone going to my bathroom? And that's the thing, is I know for a fact that I never lift the toilet seat. I never put the toilet seat up. I never do that. It's always down. It's probably because, you know, it's Taylor Swift, you know, she wants to pretend like she's a dude. Flipping the toilet seat up like there's some guy in here using it. Like, stop doing that. Julia Roberts person or something, some psychopath like breaks into her house and she's hiding in her closet because she's afraid of like this person that's doing this stuff. And it's like, look at these people. They're afraid, and yet they expect me not to be. Like, look, they're coming in here, they're doing this stuff in my apartment, and then I'm not supposed to be scared?
Travis was committed to a mental health facility after asking for family members' help in locating Taylor, whom he believed must have been lurking somewhere around small-town Morton, taunting him. His treatment, however, clearly didn't take, and it was reported later that he refused to take regular medication. Okay. In Colorado, where he later moved in 2016, Travis reached out to police to make a formal report regarding the stalking. But after unloading all of his concerns to the local sheriff, the harassment continued.
Yeah, I need to report something, and every time I go to the sheriff's office, it's closed.
Okay, what do you need to report?
I have somebody stalking me around town, and I do not appreciate it. I want it to stop. And no one seems to take me seriously when I say that.
Okay, and who is it that's stalking you?
Taylor Swift.
Okay, and is this person a male or a female that's stalking you?
Female.
Okay. And what is she doing that you say she's stalking you?
Yeah, I mean, everywhere I go, like, they're stalking on the internet, they're stalking me, like, in person, everywhere I go. I'm pretty sure, like, the police here are involved in it. And, like, I want it to stop. It's stupid. No one has the right to do that to me.
Okay. What exactly are they doing?
But somehow they're like getting on my Facebook, they're getting on my YouTube, they're getting on my Netflix, and they're changing the videos that I see as they pop up.
Are we talking about the algorithm? No, like how the algorithm. Because I'm sure you possibly search for Taylor Swift, so the more you know what I'm saying? Because algorithm thing's been a thing for years. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, was that the reason why he was in Nashville? Had relocated to Nashville? Because she did live here at some point. I don't know where she stayed now. But I doubt she still stay in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know my roommate said went to high school with Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
They used to talk about her like, oh, Taylor Swift, she was like this in school. And I was like, for real? But, you know?
Okay. I'll have an officer come meet you at your house then.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh.
In July 2017, Travis was arrested just outside of the White House in Washington, D.C. after attempting to force his way onto the grounds. He had declared himself a sovereign citizen and insisted that he both speak with the president and inspect the grounds. By this time, Travis was claiming that the police were not only ignoring his concerns, but were in league with larger agencies like the CIA and the FBI conspiring against him. He also wrote about his wife, a shape-shifting alien named Celine, whom he was helping to defeat her alien foes. When he traveled to Washington, he thought that perhaps the president could help him. Following this incident, all 4 of Travis's registered guns, including his rifle, were confiscated. They were handed over to his father, Jeffrey, by his request, who promised to keep them safely away from his son. But before he relocated to Tennessee, his father, for reasons that remain unclear, returned the weapons to his son.
Bro.
So let me ask everybody, not just you, everybody. In a situation like this, when there's first of all, if you confiscate a weapon, I don't think anyone that the person, especially under mental, hold on, he already been diagnosed with. Why the fuck does he have weapons
In a facility,
Hold on.
treatment didn't work. Supposed to be on medication.
Refuse to
take the medication.
Keep going, but hold on, cause we cooking real quick. Hold on, keep going.
That's all I heard.
I'm just saying, because there's so many things that could have prevented this whole situation, and I didn't know none about any of this. Then even the White House thing, didn't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I know nothing about that either.
So you telling me he should never had a weapon in the first place?
Facts.
Shouldn't even been able to purchase weapons in the first place. One, they should have never been returned to anyone that had any ties or connections to him. They should have been destroyed. Mm-hmm. You can't. No, we're not giving it back to you. We're not giving it back to anybody. We're destroying your weapons because you're not even legal to even be in range of it. Mm-hmm. Second of all, if you are going to go in that route of say, hey, we can give it to someone who's close to you, but you can't be in possession. In my mind,
if that person violates that.
If that person violates that, and you know that they're not supposed to have the weapons, but you hand the weapons over to them, and if they go commit a crime, I feel like you should be held responsible as well.
Mm. Yeah.
You know they are unstable. You know the legal process told them that they can't have these weapons. Multiple weapons.
Multiple, but come on, bro.
And it's like handing a gun to somebody and say, yeah, go do what you want to do. Go do that. You deserve to be charged with that.
Especially then you giving it to him and he's moving to a whole different state. Already not, stable and stuff like that. And then he's, come on. You can't.
That's just deep down how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. But let's go.
How concerned are you that Travis Reinking was able to slip through the cracks? Are you staying from the time yesterday of the shooting until now, or?
How concerned are you that Travis Reinking has a past mental health history, and he also has had many run-ins with law enforcement, including the Secret Service? The FBI is aware of him. How concerned are you that he slipped through the cracks?
Okay, I can tell you from our perspective, after the incident at the White House and the assessment that happened in the Springfield office, that every federal resource was brought to bear, and that we were able to effectively neutralize what we felt was the threat at the time by ensuring that he did not have the ability to purchase or own weapons.
Travis underwent a psych evaluation while being held in Davidson County Jail. He spoke to a local reporter claiming that he was in perfect mental health but was unhappy with the legal representation that he had been given and choosing to represent himself. At a pretrial hearing to determine his competency, however, the judge, after hearing from the state's treating forensic psychologist, determined that Travis was not fit to stand trial.
Excuse me.
That Mr. Reinking does have a serious and persistent mental illness, is that right?
That's right.
What is it? What's the diagnosis?
Schizophrenia.
And what kind of factors go into determining that a person has schizophrenia? What are the type of symptoms that you would expect to see?
In general, or his symptoms?
In general.
In general, okay. A big part of schizophrenia is a detachment from reality. So there's hallucinations, delusions, paranoia, disorganized thinking, disorganized speech and behavior.
And does Mr. Reinking display one or more of those type of symptoms?
Yes.
Travis was...
So I guess that answers our question we had the other day. You remember we were talking about how individuals, like who determines and all that. And remember we had that whole dialogue. So
committed to a mental care facility to be treated, primarily with appropriate psychotic medications, until the time that he was deemed competent to face the many indictments pending against him. That came years later. Travis was declared competent to stand trial in January 2022.
He still don't look.
His defense team
on some real spill. This person and this person to me does not appear the same. This person just looks very medicated up. Mm-hmm. This person, yeah, he's dealing. You get what I'm saying? I think this person right here is more there than this person.
I mean, you can.
I'm just saying visually from my, like, I'm just looking at him like.
It's about mental. You can't see his mental.
Yes, I understand, but this person to me just.
I get what you're saying though. I definitely get what you're saying because he definitely looks very out of it here.
Disoriented,
but
sure.
I mean, if they deem him competent, then he's competent.
He does need no. What I'm saying, 100%. I know where you're going. Most definitely need to be charged with and held to the utmost degree with the crime that he committed. 100%. He just looked. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. January 2022. His defense team argued that he was not guilty of the 16 indicted charges, including 4 first-degree murder charges, by reason of insanity. The bar to prove this plea was quite high. They aimed to establish more than Travis's diagnosed mental condition, which was inarguable given his history, but that as an extension of this condition, he was unable to distinguish right from wrong at the time of the shooting. The 2 psychologists that testified, including Dr. Rena Eisen, the same doctor who had spoken to Travis's competency in 2018, were chosen by the court for their expertise. Neither defense or the state prosecution paid experts to present their arguments.
Let me also say this. But the act that he ended up committing on this day doesn't resonate to me with the mental, and I would need a psychologist kind of like help me kind of, I guess, paint the picture for me for understanding purposes. Because I'm like, to me, it would make more sense if he had targeted like Taylor Swift or something, like, hey, he tried to break into her home or something. I would have been like, yes, that. But to seek out individuals you don't know, just random at the local Waffle House, that has nothing. You get what I mean? I don't know.
On the night of April 22nd, 2018, could he appreciate that what he was doing in going into that Waffle House and opening fire, could he appreciate that that was wrong?
I don't believe so.
Did he believe what he was doing was self-defense?
Yes, I believe so.
The state argued passionately that Travis was motivated to commit the murders by hatred and revenge, sentiments that were noted within his handwritten journals in the years leading up to the attack. He wrote that he believed that the employees at the Waffle House by his home were conspiring against him. He claimed that he had heard them repeat statements that he had privately recorded in his journal or said aloud only to himself while inside his home. His intention was to shoot these employees, he wrote, but to do so in a way that would allow them enough time before passing to contemplate their actions and to get right with God.
You do not think that that is an indicator of understanding right from wrong, that you would give someone the chance to pray for salvation?
That's understanding right from wrong.
I think that that's an understanding of religious views of right from wrong in that instance, yes.
No, that's not, no.
So you do agree that giving someone the chance to get right with God before they are murdered
right from
is an
wrong.
indicator the person understands wrongfulness, correct?
Yeah, the general concept, yes, that's correct.
That's all we need. So he's coming.
The state pointed specifically to Travis's actions 5 days before the shooting when he entered a BMW dealership, requested a test drive, and then forced the saleswoman from the vehicle and drove off in the car.
What?
He entered his home address into the GPS and drove there. Concerned that he required care for a mental condition, the dealership did not seek to press charges or to have Travis immediately detained. They simply retrieved the car from outside of his apartment the next morning. The prosecution pointed to his anger over this incident. Travis was attempting to take something that he felt was owed to him, and it was taken away. He wrote in his journal that his next steps were to take something that they could not take back, people's lives. Conversely, the second psychologist, Dr. Wood, assessed that the lack of repercussions from the BMW theft was interpreted by Travis as further evidence that no one was really paying attention to him. Travis had become convinced that his actions did not matter. He was invisible.
The reality is that he was upset because the police had taken back this BMW that he had just carjacked from a sales lady and taken.
I think he was confused about that happening, yes, but I don't think that was the pivotal moment of why he did this, no.
You think he was confused about what happened with the BMW?
Well, no, I think he knew exactly what happened. But I think when Mr. Reinking talked about it later, he said, like, they just came back and got the car. Why didn't they arrest me? I'm invisible to them. They don't even do anything to me. And that's when he sort of said, I mean, it doesn't matter what I do. They're not responding.
Mr. Reinking was able to understand that what he was doing was wrong.
Right.
On the incident at Waffle House on April 22nd, 2018.
I do have an
And all
opinion
the
about
other
that.
incidents. And he's doing things and he was like, I want you to see me. I want you to do something about it. No one's doing anything about it. Everyone is
so
just...
everything keeps amplifying.
Yes. And so
even
the fact that you are even making those statements to me is kind of like...
He understands everything he's doing is right, is right or wrong. He's fully understanding that.
And regardless of the fact, like, yeah, you know, I know as far as like how people are, you know, detached and, you know, the delusions and hallucinations and all, like I get that with, you know, mental, depending on what they are diagnosed.
But he also understands punishments.
But yeah, it's like you want to be punished. Like I don't understand. Like I told you the other day, like I just sometimes don't understand, and I just be needing someone to break it down to me that's, you know, more knowledgeable, because I just be a little, I guess I be like conflict. I'm like, okay, I see where you coming from, you know, this your expertise. I see where you coming from, but I'm also in my head like, but it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Like I really need to know.
Even the process when he like broke into the White House, right?
Try to.
Well, try to,
ground.
on the ground. It seems as though nothing happened even in that situation. So it's like, he's like, also, no matter what I do, I'm not going to get punished for it. I can keep pushing this edge and nothing is going to be done about it until I'm going to do something to make y'all do something about it.
Yeah.
Opinion about that?
That he did not appreciate what he was doing was wrong.
All right. What is the basis of your opinion for that?
Well, I've described that at the point in time that this occurred, Mr. Reinking had grown increasingly fearful of this persecution, this hacking, that these things were happening to him. He described people breaking into his home, and he was increasingly concerned over the course of time what they were going to do. When he went and repossessed the BMW, it was consistent with his belief that at the time, they've stolen everything from me. I can repossess this. It just makes sense to me. Why couldn't I? I told you that the next morning they took the BMW back, but had no interaction with the police. And Mr. Reinking interpreted this.
He had no interaction with the police at all? That's insane, bro. I just don't get it.
Consistent with the way he'd kind of viewed himself to this point, is that he was an invisible man. They weren't going to do anything. He'd asked them for help. No one was listening. They didn't believe him. He stole a BMW and they didn't even arrest him. The night of the incident, Mr. Reinking said that he arrived home and he found evidence in his apartment that had been broken into. He said that there was an unusual smell that's not normally there. There were things that were missing, and I believe a door was closed when it's normally opened. At that moment, Mr. Reinking explained that he was incredibly fearful and terrified. He said, at that point, I felt like their behavior had become increasingly erratic and unpredictable. I didn't know what they were going to do next. During my conversations with Mr. Reinking, and as well as in his journal, he described this as what he considered a life and death situation. Mr. Reinking said, at this point, I didn't know what else to do. I'd gone to their people. I'd told the police. I'd asked for help. I'd made these videos. I'd sleep with an assault rifle, all of these things, and I'm still not safe. Mr. Reinking then prayed at that point to God about what should I do. He has described that in that moment he received, at times he described it as a voice, at other times a command from God that was very specific and it was very directive. And this directed command from God was to take his jacket, the jacket that he was wearing, take the gun, and go to Waffle House and shoot 3 people.
By his own record, Travis stated that God had instructed him to kill 3 people, but his firing seemed indiscriminate, and had it not been for James Shaw, he very likely would have continued.
God didn't even make it clear that he had to kill people.
Well, he said that he later considered it and said, there's other meanings of shoot. He could have meant shoot a camera and take pictures of them, or shoot a paintball gun, and clarified these are not things that I thought about until afterward, but it's possible I misinterpreted it.
Okay, so there's 2 parts there. One, as he's telling you about what he did, he is expressing that he had some doubts about the clarity of God's command to him, right?
Yes, that's why I talked about him feeling very conflicted about this, wanting to make sure, I don't want to do this if it's wrong. I want to make sure this is what I'm supposed to do.
And also that he thought he could have just used a paintball gun.
After the fact, he said, that's not something I considered at the time, but maybe I could have done that instead.
Or a camera.
He said it's possible he meant shoot with a camera.
Obviously, if Travis Reinking had taken his camera to the Waffle House, we wouldn't have anybody dead today, would we?
We would not be here today. That's exactly right.
In closing arguments, the defense reminded the jury that the state never called their own doctor to counter the findings of the other psychologists. The defense had met their burden, they said. 2 unbiased experts agreed. The prosecution then reminded the jurors that the court may pick the psychologists, but the decision of what verdict to render is theirs alone. The verdict was returned in under 4 hours of deliberations over 2 days. Travis Reinking was found guilty on all 16 counts. Survivors of the attack and family members of the victims testified in the sentencing portion of the trial.
I pray that he is sentenced to the maximum time allowed with enhancements to be run consecutively. James Shaw, Kayla Shaw, Tia Wadner, Torian Sunderland, Joe Perez, Aquila Da Silva, Diemny Groves, and I deserve that much. Thank you.
Travis was handed 4 life sentences, 1 for each murder victim, the time to be served consecutively. On top of this was an additional 114 years for other charges, including felony murder, attempted murder, and firearms charges. Travis's father, Jeffrey Reinking, was charged in Illinois for giving the firearms back to his son. He was convicted by a judge in May 2022 and faces 1 to 3 years in prison and thousands in fines. Jeffrey's attorney had argued that the father was in fact unaware that his son had been treated for mental health issues.
Huh? How?
Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry.
How when he... So at what point did he reach out for help? And then he ended up... Y'all put him in a facility and
Nobody knew.
And then he moved to... And then also, why was the weapons taken in the first place? Or given to you? Like, that makes no sense. Unless I missed something or I sometimes misinterpret it because sometimes I do be a little confused. I be confused. I'm human.
Man,
Get a little confused.
They would have informed him the reason why his son can't have the weapon. They 100% would have.
Yeah, but
excuses,
no accountability.
True. What you just said, that is factual.
James Shaw Jr. was honored by the state legislature in Tennessee for his heroic actions. He was also the recipient of the BET Humanitarian Award in 2018, and the Department of Justice awarded him with the Special Courage Award in 2019.
I don't know. I just don't see what I did as, heroic. I can get the kind of the brave part, but heroic is, I don't know. It seems like that's a little fabricated, a little dramatic for me, but like I said, I didn't do it to be heroic. If anything, I did it to be completely selfish of myself, and I tried to save myself. And in that act, I actually saved other people. So that's why I think when people say it's heroic, it's kind of weird because I did it 100% to save myself.
And that was the story of the Waffle House tragedy and the disturbing case of Travis Jeffrey Reinking. Thanks for watching. I'm Kevin. This is Just Thought Lounge, and I'll see you in the next one.
See you, Kevin.
I accidentally clicked them on.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone in?
But I didn't know his convictions. I didn't know the whole court process and proceedings.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know. To be completely
I
honest.
definitely just speak for myself. I didn't know. I just knew like the incident, and that's it. Like and so a little bit, like I seen a little bit of like as far as like James, like him talking, interviews with him and stuff. But as far as like the White House situation or the fact that he was diagnosed with things or in a mental facility and weapons taken and father involved and giving weapons back and moving from, I didn't even know he was from, what is it? Paris was in Colorado. Was it Colorado? Illinois. I don't know where I got Colorado from.
No, he lived in Colorado.
Oh, okay. I know I heard that somewhere. But yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know the Illinois. I didn't know, that he really hadn't been here that long, right? Yeah.
I know that too.
Didn't know that. I didn't know that he stayed behind the Waffle House.
I know that.
I didn't know a lot of things. So a lot of this was new for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just trying to process everything. So many people involved, the names.
I remember riding by and just seeing the aftermath and actually seeing it. And it just felt like, even when I used to ride by, it used to feel very gloomy.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of wooded areas in that area. So right afterwards, I remember riding through. I'm like, bro, where could he be? Because I remember, I think I rode by it the next day, and I was like, where could he be? Because he was still out on the loose. And it's I don't know now. It's been a minute since I rode through there that way, because I really never have to. Only time I remember, I think the last time I rode past there when I worked my last job, because you should take that way to go to the airport. But that was about the last time I've been that way. But I didn't know like the mental aspect of it, the whole case. And I do feel like his father should be held way more responsible than that, because there's no way you had no idea. of your soul mental state.
Yeah.
There's no. Didn't he say he used to call his dad and have conversations with his dad? Tell you never once questioned your son's mental state, even if you didn't know about the reports, even if you never
like just hearing these conversations, you're like, something's not. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, like I said, excuses, no accountability. That's all it was. And this was just so like
senseless.
So senseless. And rest in peace to everyone who lost their lives, and even the people that were involved that survived, because that is so traumatic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you lost friends that night, or who whatever the relationship was.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot on someone because you live with that forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the girl I know that was there, because I remember my mom telling me, she was like, her mom had mentioned it. I was like, oh, she was there? And she was like, yeah, but she didn't recently move back, and I think it did kind of like shook her a lot, because you're not expecting, like, I've been to the Waffle House several times. There's no way I'm thinking just out a night out hanging out with friends and something like that would happen.
Yeah.
Because that was used to be the kicking spot. You just hanging out, having a good time. You know how many memories are made in Waffle House? And for everybody in that night, a lot of those positive memories they had is shadowed now by something so tragic.
Yeah.
I just don't get it, man.
Facts.
And I still don't. Well, I guess the explanation that the psychologist gave is the reason for the crime that was committed. I guess. Because he didn't even go after the workers. He went after one worker. And the only reason why he shot that worker because that worker was outside. Oh, I also wonder if the worker didn't go outside and take the smoke break, would he even try to target at that time?
That's a good question.
Or would he try to just shoot through at the workers?
And you sat in your car for a little minute too, like
that's
like
what I mean.
Like, did you like sit there to like? Were you thinking? Were you like hearing things at that moment? Were you like contemplating? Like, what was up with like that whole ordeal? I just have a lot of questions, and sometimes I do get a little confused. Sometimes in like cases that involve like mental health and stuff like that. Because I do know that everyone is not the same. And I do know that certain things, everything is, different. So I do be a little confused sometimes, and I just be wanting to,
Yes, ain't no wrong with that. I feel you on that because
be informed of how we got to this point. But
and I do feel like a lot of things could have been prevented from even happening. Though. But y'all spam us up. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts in the comments for us down below. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. That's it.
See you, Nicole.
We are. We are.
Time to kick it, got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't declare me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.